Assalamu alaikum. I am Luqman 𝐬𝐲𝐬 and this is 𝐻𝐤𝐬 Academy. In today's episode, inshallah, we will discuss the different shapes of the connected letters of the two shape mates, which are Ra and Zay or Zay. So stay tuned.
𝐻𝐤𝐬 Academy.
This is just to remind you that we are explaining using Al-Minhaj book, the official book of 𝐻𝐤𝐬 Academy. So the second shape mates, that just the difference between them is just one dot. We'll discuss them today are Ra and Zay. Okay, so this is the shape of a Ra in the isolated form as we know. Okay, and let's now see how it will look in the initial form. It will be as this. So are you notice any difference between the isolated form and the initial form? The answer is no. So there is no difference between the isolated form and the initial form of letter Ra, and this is correct. So what about the middle form? This is the middle form and the final form of the letter Ra. As you see and as you notice, there is also no difference between the middle and the final form of these two letters, of these two shapes, a Ra. So the first point we have here, that a Ra in the isolated form and the initial form are the same. And the second point we have here, that a Ra in the middle form and the final form are the same. The other point here, which is a Ra doesn't connect with the letter after it. Okay, is not connectable with the letter after it. As you see this line, this means it's connectable to the letter before, but it will not be connected to the letter after it. A Ra is one of the 7 letters that not be connected to the letter after it. So you will never see line after it like this. So a Ra, you will see line before it, but you will never see a Ra with a line after it. Why? Because a Ra doesn't connect with the letter after it. Okay, the next letter is the same and looks like a Ra, but just the difference is the dot above it, which is the letter Zay or Zay. Two names. Okay, but let's take an examples of letter Ra first. Rajul, which means a man. So as you can see, a Ra the same with the isolated form and the initial form. Okay, the next example is Marad or Marad. As you can see, a Ra here. The final is Matar, as you can see. So the final form and the middle form are the same, as you know this. Okay, so letter Zay, as you can see, the same, but just the dot is the difference between letter Ra and letter Zay. So the same letter Ra in the initial and letter Zay in the initial are the same. What is the difference? The dot. Letter Ra in the middle and letter Zay or Zay in the middle, the same. What is the difference? The dot. Okay, letter Ra in the final and letter Zay in the final is the same. What is the difference? The dot. So this is, in some cases, might be confusing. Why? Because when you see a Ra, you might think it's a Zay, but just you have to know that you have to see if there is a dot above this shape or not. If there is no dot, it will be Ra. If there is a dot, it will be Zay. Okay, so let's take an examples of the letter Zay. The first one, Zawj. As you can see, this is the initial form of letter Zay, and this word in the middle form, as you can see, this is the Zay in the middle form. And lastly, the last form or the final form, Khubz, as you can see, this letter Zay or Zay in the final form. So now we want to summarize all what we said in this episode. We will summarize them now. A Ra and a Zay are the shape mates. A Ra and a Zay in the initial form are the same. are the same. I mean the isolated and the initial form are the same, as you can see here, but just the dot is difference for ال-زي, and the middle form and final form are the same for ra, and the middle form and final form are the same for ال-زي, and both letters are not connectable with the letter after it. So this is the summary of the connected letters and all forms of ra and ال-زي. So now we came to the end of this episode. I hope now you understand and not confused when you see both of them. If you have any question, just let me know in the comment section below. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. Now we came to the end of this episode. So if you want to follow up the next episodes, consider subscribing. Also, if you want a qualified Quran tutor, whether for yourself or your kids, we are providing online Quran classes. Don't forget to check out our app. See you inshallah in the next episode. Assalamu alaikum.
Shaykhi Academy. Learn and enjoy.